Hey everyone, welcome back to KP Money Talks, where we simplify finances in Canada. Today, I want to ask you something. Have you ever imagined a world where money isn't printed by governments, monitored by banks, or restricted by borders? A world where every transaction is secure, transparent, and completely under your control. Where financial power shifts away from institutions and into the hands of everyday people. That world already exists. It's called Bitcoin. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you've seen the headlines. Wild price spikes, massive crashes, overnight millionaires, and of course, skeptics calling it a bubble. Maybe you've even dipped your toe in, or written it off as just another internet fad. But here's the truth. Bitcoin isn't going away. In fact, it's growing. And it might just be on track to redefine how we think about money, ownership, and financial freedom. So what's really happening with Bitcoin? Let's dig deeper. In this video, we're going deep. What Bitcoin really is, how it was created, why people are using it, whether it could actually replace traditional money, and of course, the big one, should you invest in it? And yes, we'll also talk about which governments are quietly stacking Bitcoin, even if they don't admit it. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's dive into the strange, revolutionary, and world-changing story of Bitcoin. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is often described as digital gold, but that's only part of the story. At its core, Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency. Unlike the money in your wallet or bank account, it doesn't come from a central bank or government. There is no institution issuing Bitcoin, no CEO, and no headquarters. Instead, Bitcoin runs on a public, distributed network of computers around the world. It lives entirely online and is governed by code, consensus, and transparency. But how does this all work behind the scenes? The magic behind it all is something called blockchain technology. Think of blockchain as an open book, a public ledger, that records every single Bitcoin transaction ever made. It's transparent, secure, and immutable. Anyone can see it, but no one can tamper with it. That's the real power. It removes the need for trust. With Bitcoin, you don't need to trust a bank or a company or even another person. The code does the job. And that concept? It's revolutionary. Now that you understand what Bitcoin is, let's go back in time to learn about the mysterious birth of Bitcoin. It was the aftermath of the 2008 global financial crisis. Big banks had just been bailed out. People had lost jobs, homes, and trust in the entire system. Amid that chaos, a white paper quietly appeared online in October 2008, titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It was authored by an unknown figure using the name Satoshi Nakamoto. To this day, no one knows who Satoshi really was. A single genius, a group of developers, or a pseudonym for something even more mysterious. Then, on January 3, 2009, Satoshi mined the very first Bitcoin block, known as the Genesis block. Embedded in the code was a hidden message. The Times, 03 Jan 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. It wasn't just a timestamp, it was a statement, a message of rebellion, a signal that Bitcoin was meant to be an alternative to the broken financial system. And from that single block, an entire movement was born. Now let's take a closer look at the system he created. Bitcoin operates on a decentralized network of computers, often referred to as nodes. These nodes work together to verify transactions and maintain the ledger. At the heart of it is a process called mining. Miners use powerful computers to solve complex math problems. When a problem is solved, a new block of verified transactions is added to the blockchain, and the miner is rewarded with new Bitcoin. But why does this matter? This process is not just about rewards. It's what keeps the system secure, decentralized, and tamper-proof. Now here's something crucial. Bitcoin is limited. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. That's it. No printing presses, no inflation by design. And every 4 years, the reward for mining Bitcoin is cut in half. This event is called the halving, and it reduces the rate at which new Bitcoin enters circulation. This built-in scarcity makes Bitcoin a deflationary asset, the opposite of most national currencies, which lose value over time. That's why some people don't just call it digital money, they call it digital freedom. So far we've talked about what Bitcoin is and how it works. But what can you actually do with it? In the early days, it was used for direct peer-to-peer transactions. People bought pizzas with it. Famously, 10,000 BTC for 2 pies. Ouch. Today, things have evolved. Bitcoin is now seen primarily as a store of value. Because of its scarcity and decentralization, it's often compared to gold. But unlike gold, Bitcoin is easy to store, transfer, and verify. But that's not all. It's also used for remittances. Traditional money transfers across borders are slow and expensive. Bitcoin allows people to send money directly, instantly, and with far lower fees. And there's financial inclusion. Billions of people in the world don't have access to banks. But many of them have smartphones. With Bitcoin, anyone with internet access can participate in the global economy. Retailers are slowly coming on board too. From tech companies to local coffee shops, Bitcoin payments are being accepted. And while it's not mainstream yet, it's growing. This brings us to a big question. Could Bitcoin actually replace traditional money? Technically, it's possible. But practically, it's complicated. Right now, Bitcoin is too volatile for daily transactions. Imagine buying groceries with Bitcoin, only to find out it's worth 20% more the next day. That's why innovations like the Lightning Network exist. It's a second-layer protocol that allows for instant, low-fee Bitcoin transactions. It could make Bitcoin usable for everything from buying coffee to streaming payments. Meanwhile, governments are exploring or launching their own digital currencies, CBDCs or central bank digital currencies. But those are still centralized. Bitcoin offers something different, a parallel financial system that's borderless, permissionless, and open to anyone. Will it replace money? Maybe not fully, but it might become the financial internet behind the scenes. Let's shift gears. Should you invest in Bitcoin? Bitcoin is volatile. It's not for the faint of heart. Prices swing. Media panics. Regulations change. But despite all of that, it keeps coming back. Since its creation, Bitcoin has outperformed every other asset class over a 10-year period. Stocks, gold, real estate, nothing comes close. Many investors now view Bitcoin as a portfolio hedge. Because it's uncorrelated with traditional markets, it can protect against economic instability. A common strategy? Allocate a small percentage of your investment portfolio, 3 to 5% max. Enough to benefit from upside, without risking it all. But here's the golden rule. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. And more importantly, take the time to learn. Bitcoin isn't just a stock. It's a new financial paradigm. Now, let's look at what the world's governments are doing. While you and I debate Bitcoin's future, governments are already making moves. El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender and now holds thousands of coins. Bhutan, surprisingly, has been mining Bitcoin using hydropower and quietly building a treasury. The United States? Through law enforcement seizures, it holds over 200,000 BTC. That's billions in value. Even Ukraine, Finland, and Iran have Bitcoin reserves, some through confiscation, some through intentional accumulation. This isn't just speculation, it's strategy. Bitcoin is being treated as a geopolitical asset. something governments are quietly stacking, even if they won't say it out loud. Let's bring it all together. Bitcoin is only 15 years old. That's nothing compared to the centuries-old fiat system. Yet in that short time, it's gone from an obscure internet experiment to a trillion-dollar asset. Some see it as a bubble, others as the most important innovation since the internet. Here's what we know. Bitcoin is here to stay. It may not replace fiat, but it will influence how money works moving forward. It's reshaping conversations about value, trust, freedom, and control. So whether you believe in it or not, whether you invest in it or not, Bitcoin is forcing us to ask, what is money? Who controls it? And should that power belong to the few or to all of us? Thanks for watching. If you learned something new, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives like this. Let me know in the comments. Do you own Bitcoin? Do you think it's the future? Or is it all hype? Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and don't forget to back up your wallet.